Hi, everybody. I'm Mike, and this is Mike Miller Talks Life. Today's quote, today's thought: play the hand you were dealt. I've never been much into playing games in life, board games, card games, things like that. When I was young, my family didn't do that, but in that era, I don't know that many of my friends' families did that. So I was never into that because that wasn't my history and wasn't much of a game player. My family was really into games. They really liked it. Now that I'm retired, I find I have more occasion to play games. And I've noticed that it's kind of fun. I mean, I don't hate it. I could think of other things I'd rather do, but I don't hate it. I'm not really good at it. But mostly because I think I'm just not putting myself into it. I'm always thinking, oh, we could be doing something else. But it's kind of fun. And I've noticed now when we play, there are people in my family that are very competitive. And it's kind of interesting to watch, but it's also interesting to play. One thing I learned recently, or it came to me recently, we were away, and we were with some college friends of ours, and we were playing games. They love playing games. My wife loves playing games, so I yielded to it. But this line came to me, this quote: play the hand you were dealt. And it came to me as we were getting ready to play a game, and we were handing out cards, dealing cards. And then you had to pick up your cards, and that's what you played with. And I noticed how some people say nothing about what they have. Some are noticeably joyful. They have a great hand. And some complain. They're frustrated. Oh gosh, I never get a good hand. It was kind of interesting. And yet, we all have to play the hand we were dealt. And some play what they have pretty well. They can dig out and do a good job. I noticed on television that they have these poker tournaments. And it's kind of interesting to watch because these people, men and women, are very good card players. And I noticed that some of them get dealt a pretty bad hand. Now, the reason I know it's a bad hand is because the announcer says it's a bad hand. I mean, I don't know what's good or not. And it's interesting to watch how there's discarding and things, but some of these people are so good, they can start with a really bad hand and they can end up winning the hand because of how they play and how they bluff, how they make people think one thing that isn't necessarily true. Play the hand you were dealt. A few observations about that. This isn't rocket science. You can come up with this too. It's just something that I thought about that it might be helpful in a way. When we enter life, we receive a hand. This is your potential as a person, your passions, your talents, your skills, your interests, your physical makeup, your mental, all this. We all get this when we start out, and the idea is to discover it as we go along and develop it. And that opens the door to even more. There's a lot to every person that joins the planet. And that's one of the major roles of parents, is to help our children find their way in life and discover themselves so they can run with it. So we all have an initial hand, but we're also dealt hands throughout life. It can be times of hardship, like going through a loss of our loved one or a job or our house, or loss of something that's very important to us. Going through times of being financially strapped. Going through times of illness or physical problems. Times of hardship. Going through times of hardship, like where I used to live, it's been just a tough couple of years with a major forest fire, and now the rains are coming, and so much ground is unstable from the fires, and it's just been a time of great hardship. We can also go through times of blessing, abundance. We can have good health. We can have financial stability. Life is going good. We're at a good place in life. We have great opportunities lining up in front of us. Life can be great. It can be hard. So we're dealt a hand, beginning with life and then throughout life. This is the hand you have. Winning at life is about how you play. Winning isn't necessarily what cards you receive, but it's how you play. I noticed in my recent beginning to play games, I end up with some pretty good cards in my hand. I don't know how to play very well, and so I end up losing because I don't play well. It's not that I didn't get a good hand. It's about how you play. The great philosopher from France, Voltaire, each player must accept the cards life deals him or her. Once the cards are in your hand, then we alone decide how we play. Winning at life is about how you play. Next observation is equality is a little different than we think. Equality means we all receive a hand to play. We all get a life that we can do something with. We don't all receive the same cards. Fairness is not that we get the same thing our neighbor got. Fairness and equality is we are all dealt a hand and we all get to play it. That's where the equality is. Jesus told the story in the New Testament about 3 servants who received a number of, the New Testament refers to talents, and it was income, money, that they could do something with. And then when the master came back, the landowner where they worked, then they would give an account for how they did. And one received 5, a lot. One received 2, not as much, but still quite a bit. And one received just 1 talent. They each got different amounts, but the equality was they each were allowed to have something to run with and make the most of. And we tend to want the same thing somebody else has. But that's not how it happens. That really would be kind of a bad thing, because I am not the same as you and you're not the same as me. Some of my natural core talents and strengths are very different than yours. It wouldn't help me and make my life better if I got all the computers you have. I'm not that good at those, so it'd just be more stuff sitting around that I don't know how to develop. So equality is that we all get things in life to run with. Another observation is our response is totally up to us. Some people complain, always disappointed. I never get a break. I never get a good hand. Some people compare. Oh, they got a better hand than me. They got a nicer thing, nicer car, nicer house, better kids than I got. No wonder their life is going well. Look what they started with. We all say things like that. I thought this in a recent card game because the person before me just kept getting dealt great cards. It was like, man, they're in the zone. And they had great hands to play and they had a great game. Sometimes we blame. We blame what we receive for not doing anything in our life, for not going anywhere. When we'll say things like, well, if I had your hand, I'd be doing well too. You get all the breaks. And that's not necessarily true, because since you don't do much with the hand you have, it kind of indicates that you wouldn't do much with a better hand. When we constantly long for something other than what we have, we can, without realizing it, create a sense of longing so that no matter what comes our way, we habitually long for more. We don't take a moment to look at what we have. And this is draining us, and it puts us on a fast track to a state of being miserable and down all the time. We've created this. You see, life is not determined by the cards you receive, but how you play the game. Acceptance is crucial. These are your cards. This is your reality. This is what you get to play with. Don't whine. Don't complain. Don't blame others. Don't be envious of other people and what they have. It's fine to see what they have and then think, wow, that's nice. But we go too far sometimes, and we want what they have. Do not keep praying for a better hand. I kind of think that's not a prayer God's going to answer. He wants you to play the hand that you've been dealt. Make the most of it. Grow. And when we keep rejecting what we've received, this will increase our bitterness, and you're going to end up folding. You're not going to do anything with the hand you've been dealt, but give up. So get busy. The best way to get out of the spot you're in is to get busy. Eleanor Roosevelt said, you have to accept whatever comes. And the only important thing is that you meet it with the best you have to give. I like that. The things that come our way, it could be good, but they can be pretty tough, pretty hard. But I like how it's clear about I can only do the best I can. I don't have to do as good as somebody who's way better. I do the best I can with what I have received. Everybody we see who looks happy, who's content, who's joyful about life, or even thriving in their life, has accepted the hand they were dealt. And they're making the best use of what they were dealt. It's not that they've had a better hand. They've accepted it. There are great stories of people who were dealt a bad hand and ended up overcoming the odds and making something of their hand. Your life isn't unfair. Your life isn't really lacking. It will be fulfilling the moment you begin to accept and start living it. Accept your parents. Accept your childhood. Accept your strengths and weaknesses. Accept what happened. It could have been horrible. Your parents could have been horrible, but there comes a point when you accept them. You're not giving them a stamp of approval. You're not putting them up for Father or Mother of the Year. You're just saying, that's what was. That's what I was dealt for some reason. That's what happened. It had nothing to do with me. Accept it. I think this idea of acceptance is not resignation. It's not, I give up. No, it's not that. But it's more of a welcoming. Okay, this is my life. What can I do? I reflect on my life more now since I've been retired. I think back about what happened and what I did and all those kinds of things. And sometimes I look at things that I really missed out on because I kept wanting something else. And I missed some things that could have become very cool, very fun. Arthur Ashe, famous tennis player from long ago, said, start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can. I love that. Simple, down to earth. I recommend that you make a list of what you don't like about your life. And then ask us two things. What can I change? Just honest look, can I change any of this? There's some things you might be able to tweak, might be able to change. And then, second question, what can I do to come to terms with what I can't change? And just begin to process what you have through those two questions. And then start playing the hand you were dealt. We're all waiting to see what you have and what you're going to do. So start playing the hand you were dealt. Hey, thanks so much for listening. I hope this had some helpful ideas and thoughts, reflections about games and about life. Maybe it's something to help you. Maybe it's something you think of somebody and you want to share it. So I hope you take advantage of those opportunities. Click like or subscribe if you haven't. And maybe share it with somebody you know. Might help them. And I hope your life is going good. And until next time, I hope your life is healthy and good. Thanks.